After nearly 20 years of noise, vibration and that most distinctive of exhaust fumes, Reg Luckhurst has finally decided to retire. When he started in Speedway, there were only 7 clubs. Now there are 38. But just as his sport becomes established, he's now going to race at Wimbledon Stadium in one of the last matches of his professional career. In his lifetime, Reg Luckhurst has seen his profession establish itself as the second most popular spectator sport in Britain. But for this, he's had to pay the inevitable price.
Well, to start off with, we look at my ankles. I've broken both of them twice. I broke the base of my spine, not serious, fortunately. 4 or 5 ribs at one side, my wrist, both collarbones, and dislocated different things like my thumb. I've got a big old joint there now, unfortunately. And I've had terrible knee injuries, like housemaid's knee, a very bad thigh injury that kept me out of racing for quite a few weeks, which has affected my racing for at least 3 years.
Reg Luckhurst lives on a small holding near Ashford in Kent, and it was here that he first used to dream of the Speedway triumphs which have always just eluded him. In his farmyard workshop, he still has a memento of how near he once came to Speedway's summit.
Yeah, how about that then? I used that in the World Final, 1965. One of my pleasure, you know, I treasure it for life, obviously.
He used to make and repair motorbikes in his workshop as a hobby. Now he hopes to work here full-time to support his wife and 2 young sons. For at the age of 39, he's having to adjust to the painful realisation that Speedway is a young man's sport.
There we go. I suppose it's a sad moment, really. After 18 years of racing, the excitement, the glamour, the money, I suppose really I shall miss it. But by the end of this season, though, I've had quite enough racing. I'm tired, physically and mentally.
Well, it's rather sad, really, because it's all I've known him doing, riding, racing, careering here, there and everywhere, all over the world. So it'll be rather a sad day for all of us, I think, all the family.
Why sad?
Well, it's had a lot of limelight and a lot of, you know, sort of travelling around. And obviously it'll stop a lot, you know, be more at home, not so busy. He's had rather a good innings, really. He got to the World Final once, which is, you know, sort of gratifying in his career. And for me to know that he reached the World Final once. So he's done rather well. A lot of riders don't even, you know, sort of get to the World Final once.
I did think I was knocking on the door of the championship itself, but I was rated, I think, number 6 in the world at one time. Never quite made it.
Never been absolute at the top, but he's been a solid team man all the way through his career.
Why do you think it is that he never quite made it to the absolute top?
I think it's just Reg, you know, he's a happy-go-lucky fella. He takes things as they come, and nobody could want a more solid team man than he is.
If Reggie had concentrated on Speedway, he could have been really top class. Well, he was top class. He made a world final, but I think he could have even been better still.
It was funny in those days. Injuries never affected me. It didn't matter what happened, I could still go out and ride and race. But lately, the old ligaments and the muscles, they don't repair like you when you're 20 years old. This is one of the things about Speedway. It's a young man's sport, really. When I try and do my big lick, at one time
What is a big lick?
Take a big handful and dive around the outside of a rider. At Wimbledon, 10 years ago, I was very famous of doing the big licks. And I could get away with it. But today, I find with a young chap in front of me who's going at least a second or 2 seconds faster than what I want to race, I can't do a big lick. And if I do the big lick, I finish up sitting on the safety fence.
But nevertheless, you had your own fan club.
Oh, yes.
What happened to it?
Well, I suppose there wasn't enough support for it in the end. Although I was racing as hard as I possibly could, I was never as fast as the top boys of that era.
Was that a bit depressing for you to realise that?
I suppose it was, really, yes. And I've had 8 years riding for Wimbledon, where I have been the #1 rider at different times, and I was a #3 rider for many, many seasons, which is, again, a great honour. But unfortunately now we're in the second string type of riding, and even sometimes if I had 2 or 3 bad meetings, I get slipped down into the reserve berth, which is, it hits you quite hard, unfortunately.
What do you mean? How do you feel?
Well, it's depressing. When I get to the meeting and I look at the programme on number 7, I think, oh, you know, I shouldn't be there really. I know in my own heart that I should be at least a second string, but unfortunately this is not so anymore. And if I keep on riding on the same basis I have this last year, it will demoralise me, and I don't want to kill my thrill of speed. I want to go off in the line that, well, I made it, I got to the world final, and I was a top rider, or one of the top riders for quite a few years, and I want to go off on that basis. I don't want to be a has-been. Make the vulgar noise. That's got it there, you see. Now we can just adjust the tappets for the...
After 15,000 races, Reg is now preparing his favourite machine for their last Speedway meeting. And optimistically as ever, he's tuning for the possibility of one final blaze of glory.
Yes, it's got that there. Yes.
And this will be the last time that you'll check the bike over like this?
Oh, yes.
Before a meeting?
Yes, this we'll warm the bike up now, and we'll check the thing afterwards, but virtually that is it now. 58 brake horsepower out of this now. And that is enough to take you to the moon, I should think. Oh. Off we come.
The last match is once again at Wimbledon Stadium. It's a team match against Hackney Hawks. In the concrete pits under the main stands, the mechanics and helpers are already assembled.
Wow, the big star.
Reg Luckhurst is to ride in 4 of the team races and then compete for an individual trophy. There are some people in the crowd who've been coming here to Wimbledon for every Speedway match since the 1930s. It's a sport which attracts a particularly dedicated following. The engines are now being warmed up, ready for the first race. Their fuel is wood alcohol, they have a top speed of more than 70 miles an hour, and there are no gearboxes and no brakes. Although fatal accidents are rare, Speedway, of course, isn't the safest of sports. And Reg, like the other riders, now has to get into all his heavy protective clothing. The match is due to start in 15 minutes.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. A big welcome tonight to the Hackney Hawks.
'How do you feel about things now, Reg? Are you nervous?
Just a little bit. No, we'll soon get over it. Once it takes to go out, we'll be well away. Now, get my holy socks. Come on then.
Five minutes before the start of the first race, the gladiators prepare to parade before the spectators. They're all paid by results. They get 3 points for a win, 2 for coming second and 1 for third. For every point, they earn £3.40. They can earn £100 in the match, or barely enough to cover their expenses. For Reg, it's a matter of honour as well.
I would obviously like to win a few races on the last meeting, and I should do my damnedest, obviously. But obviously, it would be very important to win the last race.
Tonight is the last night. Our team rides as a team for 75. Rumoured he is retiring tonight. Number 1, Barry Briggs. And another one is retiring this week. No doubt if he gets a lot of points tonight, he'll say, well, I do another 20 years. Reg Luckhurst.
Give us some stick, Reggie!
Do you usually ride Bill on the inside? No, not particularly. It might be okay on the inside.
Reg at number 4 is wearing a blue crash helmet.
Go on, Reggie, game well.
Reg. My fingers crossed.
Go on, Reggie.
Unfortunately, he doesn't do quite as well as he'd hoped. He didn't get to that first corner first and didn't seem to be able to overtake the leaders.
How do you feel about that race, Reg?
Oh, well, we missed the gate, unfortunately. We tried, but it's a bit wet at the moment. You get a bit of spray on your goggles that you can't see, but it'll be all right in another 2 or 3 races, I hope, when I get my wind back.
But he wasn't all right in the second race either. In fact, he's about to experience what every rider dreads.
Come on, Reggie, try and gate well.
Reg hasn't really hurt himself, and because he managed to get onto his bike again, shouldn't be disqualified. But unfortunately, he just has been. In the pits, he argues with the stewards about whether he'll lose his race starting fee of £2.40.
So you're going to put a word in to say that I'm not going to lose my money for that, then? You're going to put a word in to say that I'm not going to lose my money because you stopped the race? It is, because you excluded me for nothing there. If I had a crash, that's fair. I didn't crash, though. I laid the bike down. Well, then I'm back in the race again, then. I'm back in the race again. God, I'd like to get you out one night.
Race number 3, and Reg is determined to do better. If he can get into a commanding position on the first bend, he might be able to hold off his rivals. Unfortunately, once again, something seems to have gone wrong with Reg's technique. And this time, he's come last and doesn't even get a point.
Reg, what went wrong with that particular race?
I missed the gate again, unfortunately. And Mike, who was just in front of me, was trying to hold a tight line. Puff, puff. So I decided after 2 laps I'd go on the outside. But there's not enough grip out tonight on the outside to go around, do the big lick. It got a bit close to the fence at the top there. I don't know if you noticed it. The old fence started looming up. I thought, oh, get off that. I've just tasted it once.
Heat number 12. And for the last time in his career, Reg Luckhurst prepares to race against his old rival, 4-time world champion Barry Briggs.
What do you think your chances are in this particular race, Reg?
Oh, very, very hard race. I wouldn't like to forecast anything here. I think Barry should win this one.
Unfortunately, yet again, and in spite of an enormous effort, Reg has found the opposition a bit too fierce. Barry Briggs won easily, while Reg himself came third.
What do you think of the result of that race, Reg?
I did predict Barry would win it.
And now the time has come for the very last race in Reg's Speedway career. It's for the individual trophy, and the only position which really matters is that of actually coming first. On his retirement, Reg Luckhurst may not be the richest or most successful of Speedway riders. He did come last in his last race, but after a career in which he's seen a rebirth of this sport, he's certainly one of the most widely liked and admired.
Kept with it then. Red. White, red.
What happened in that race, Reg?
I missed the gate again. My reaction's just not quick enough all the time, as you noticed.
How much of a blow to your pride is it when you have a series of results like tonight?
Well, this is one of the reasons why I'm retiring. You know, it's happened over the last 2 seasons, but this last season is, you know, it's obviously more affected on the person. And I think now it's about time that I, you know, gave it in. Let the youngsters take over. So, a few years' time, you can come up here, can't you? Never mind, eh?